y'all, I hope you guys are doing, you know what? I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Happy good morning, afternoon, good night, whenever you guys are watching this. But today we're gonna try something a little bit different. We're doing it inside my room. We got a purple light in the background, green light, red light, reptile, book bag, poster, two cats, Helene and Mayo. So we chilling today, but not really, because we have a lot, a lot to talk about, because this is probably like the craziest time that's gonna be for like our generation. This, if you in your 20s, maybe 30s, I'm not excluding nobody, this is for everyone. But I think that it's gonna hit a little bit differently for, the people that are closely related to my age group. Now, y'all, we gotta stop red pilling our parents. Honestly, it's like, bro, they don't care. They don't care. R.I.P. R.I.P. And honestly, that's, we gotta, like, bro, don't be wasting your energy if you know it's not gonna go nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to try to tell them, tell them what's going on, try to keep them in the loop. But bro, this is not their war. That's why they don't really care, bro. This is really is something that we have to take upon ourselves. Maybe it's not our fault. Maybe, probably had to do with some generations before us, but at the end of the day, we're gonna be the ones that have to deal with it. So it's like, they don't really care. We gotta lock in, and we gotta lock in with each other, because this is our war now. You know what I mean? Like, the best way I could describe it is that this is probably the craziest information war that we know to date. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go online, shoot. If you follow me, you probably see the stuff that I be liking and stuff. But bro, honestly, I'm not gonna say we're cooked, because we got God, and that's something that they don't have. So we're pretty locked with that. But one thing that I will say is that we have to focus on the important parts, the important aspects. There's tons of information out there, so much. So it's like, okay, well, what do we do? Well, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I may not know everything about the future, but based off of, my research, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, you guys might think that this is silly, but genuinely, if you just do some research, you'll see that these movies, at least in the US, that are being produced in the US, they have to be approved by, the United States before they're released. Meaning that, there may be, conspiracies and, like The Matrix or like Eagle Eye. Those are two, good movies. I love Eagle Eye. That's like top tier movie. But a lot of these movies and stuff, they consist of real life, technology, or real life truths. You have to understand that they're not going to give us the truth just laid out. But the thing is that they are. So they're laying out the truth, but you have to understand it's like what are those puzzles called? Kind of like let's say like it's a crossword puzzle. You know what I mean? Like, you got a bunch of letters, to you it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo that they don't be correlating. But in reality, messages are there. They have to lay it out in plain sight. It won't work unless they lay it out and they say it, And so they'll say it in jokes, they'll say it in media, movies, shows, influencers, politicians. And your job is to use discernment, to try to figure out, you know, what is truth, what is not. Now, the problem that's going on right now is that a lot of us, okay, we're getting this information, we're seeing this information, we're seeing this stuff play out. We have the facts, we have the proof. Oh, look at this. This happened because of this, or this happened because of that. You know what I mean? I know I'm talking very, you know, in code, but try to hear me. Yes, that's important. But honestly, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I think that they're gonna shut down the Wi-Fi or, you know, the internet. Not necessarily now, but it's coming, you know, whether it's they're shutting down the internet or they're censoring us. Maybe they might not even have to turn it off completely. They'll just censor it. You won't be able to say nothing. Now, that's dangerous. And so that's why it's important that what we do is that the information that we do have, that we write it down. We have it stored somewhere, not necessarily just digitally, because honestly, those things can be corrupted as well. You know, not gonna lie, you know, there's some people that be saying that some of their videos and their camera will be getting deleted without them deleting them. You know, sometimes you'll try to find a video on YouTube that's no longer there, you know, a website that's no longer active. So my best recommendation, for myself included, is that the information that you do get and receive, that you have a physical copy, create a physical copy. You know, even if you gotta start, you know, typing it out first, you know what I mean? That's one thing, you know, then you print it or whatever the case may be. But you gotta have some type of copy that nobody can take away from you. That's why I got a physical Bible. Because, bro, it's only a matter of time until they delete it from the App Store. You know, if you're seeing what's going on, bro, it's only a matter of time, bro. You know, and the thing is that every generation has said this. That's why the older generation, they don't really care, bro. They thought that they were seeing the end of the world, bro. Can you imagine just, you know, being there during the time of World War II, bro? Not knowing what's really going on, only receiving the information that's provided for you. You know what I mean? Unless you're actually actively in the war. Like, do you understand how many people thought that that was going to be the end of the world, bro? You know what I mean? So it's like the older generations, they feel like they fought their war. They done their part. You know what I mean? And yeah, this is a war that we're gonna be the ones that we have to face it. You know, so a lot of this war is just information. You know, I understand that there's, you know, physical wars that are happening and are probably more are going to continue happening. But that's why it's important that we keep our minds clear, that we know what the truth is, that we seek out the truth. We have to keep seeking out the truth, bro, no matter what, no matter how uncomfortable it makes us, you know? Because if we don't know the truth, then how could you defend anything? How can you maneuver? How can you do anything? You know, maybe you might start doing things that in the long run might not be in your best interest. It's important that the information that we collect, and I'm not just talking about, you know, politics or, you know, studies, history. I'm talking about the things that you learn. You know, if everyone goes through life, everyone is learning their experiences, their life experiences, you know, learning lessons along the way of life. And all of those things, they're only in here, which, yes, it's good. But, bro, one, that it easily, there's an easy amount of times, years, days, that I can't remember what was going on. You know how many lessons some of us have to learn over and over and over again until we actually get it. So it's like, I think that it's, you know, actively important that we journal the things that we need to, you know, or the things that we already learned, the things that we've already experienced. You know what I mean? It's like, you didn't learn it for no reason. you know. And honestly, if you're like, I don't need to write that down, like, you know, I got it all here and stuff. Well, it's like, come on, like, like, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, everyone's gonna do their own thing, but bro, like, you're kind of being, you know, selfish. You know what I mean? Like, everything that you've learned, you could spread that information to other people, the people that want it. You know, there's no point in, you know, giving water to, you know, someone who's not thirsty. No, they're not gonna want it. You know, you gotta put your energy where it's wanted. You know, because you're gonna be excreting so much energy somewhere that's not even accepting it, and then not being able to have enough to give to the people that need it. You know, I guess I would just genuinely, I would recommend that we all just start writing down all the things that we learn, everything, as if it were to be like, okay, internet off tomorrow. What would you need to know? What would you want to know? You know, what is important? You know, what have you learned? That if you were to just be like, you know what, instead of having all these million conversations with your child, you know, it could be like, and you know, that's besides this. This is number one, okay? Bible is number one, right? But like, if you're learning so much knowledge, so much wisdom throughout your years, wouldn't you want to give that to someone so that they don't have to go through some of the same things that you did? Now, understand this. There is a different level of learning when it comes to experiencing something and gaining that wisdom from someone else, okay? When you gain wisdom from somebody else that has experienced something, that has actually experienced something, you can learn, you can accept, and you can, you know, try to empathize and put yourself in their shoes. But there's a completely different experience for when you actually have to experience that hardship on your own. You know, it's one thing to say that I understand what war looks like because I play video games and I watch a few movies. And a completely other thing to say that I understand what war looks like being a veteran, coming from war, having that background. Those are two completely different experiences. So, yeah, the person who experiences them, they're going to feel the impact a lot harder. And sometimes, honestly, in some cases, it's probably better that you do experience some things so that you understand the seriousness of it. And the reason for that is because wisdom and knowledge, that can always change. And what I mean by that is that now if someone, you know, tried giving you an explanation for how, we'll use the same example of war, you know, someone tries to explain to you, oh yeah, like war is this, you know, maybe, I don't know, I'm not going to give any too deep examples, but if they're saying something that goes against what someone else had actually experienced, like what would you believe more? Your own experience or someone else telling you how it was supposed to be experienced? You're going to believe the experience that you went through. So in times when we experience things, it's because, well, not because, but it's the fact that we experience it for ourselves that solidify the fact that that is real. For example, here's a better example. My relationship with God and Jesus. There is nothing that nobody can say to me about anything that could change my relationship between God. Why? Because it is something that I experienced. Now, you can learn about God, yes, from other people, and then a seed is planted in you to go seek out your own relationship with Jesus and God. But if you don't seek your own relationship with anyone or with God, right, in Jesus, you will never know what that really is like. You will only know what that relationship would look like from someone else's experience. Here's another example. If you're in a relationship, girlfriend, boyfriend, you're in a relationship, right? There's a completely different experience and understanding of that relationship between the two of you compared to how your parents or your friends might view your relationship. Why? Because you guys are the only ones that are able to experience it, you know? So there is going to be that divide between, when you tell them about the relationship, oh, you only tell them about the good things, or you only tell them about the bad things, or you tell them about both. Regardless, you can never tell them enough to where they would be like, oh yeah, I get it. Like, I'm in their shoes. I get it. No. Why? Because that is an intimate relationship that you have on your own. So it's like that intimate relationship that you have with that person is kind of how it kind of shares the same intimacy that you have with the experiences that you go through. You know what I mean? And so I would just highly recommend that we take advantage of the things that we've learned, the experiences that we've had, the knowledge that was shared upon us, and the research that we do, that we take note of it, because we have so much freedoms right now to, we have the luxury of being like, oh, how far is the moon from the earth right now? You know what? Let me go look it up. I could look it up right now. And that's probably a stupid, example, because, you're probably not going to need that in your notes. Oh, how far is the moon from the earth? But you get what I'm saying? The things that you may need, you might want physically before all of this stuff shuts down. Like, do you understand how delicate this is? Like, genuinely, do you understand how delicate this is? Like, I don't know if you guys, some of you guys had TikTok. Maybe some of you guys don't. When I had TikTok, when it did get shut down, I was like, oh, brother, what am I gonna do? I had to go to Instagram Reels, and I was scrolling. I was like, bro, this is ass. I don't want none of this. What is going on? They censoring us, and they did it like this. How do you, I have the app on my phone. I have it on my phone. I have it on multiple phones. And you gonna deny access to something I have that is mine? That's crazy. That's insane. And the idea, the fact that we have so much information on here that they could just shut off, and you can't go back and log into your stuff and go see all the notes. Like, bro, even if you were to write all this stuff down in Google Docs, can you imagine they just, yeah, there goes the internet, there goes Google. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What will you do when the earth turns off? When it's shut off? When you're shut off from the internet? What are you going to do? You got to. We have to take advantage that we have it now and put this information somewhere. I saw this video on TikTok. Smart dude, bro. He downloaded all the information on Wikipedia. It was like, I don't know, a few like terabytes or something like that. And I think he programmed it into an AI. Not like ChatGPT, but his own. More like a librarian, you could say. So that he could ask, what about this, and it could search within the terabyte of all the information that's on Wikipedia, because he had downloaded it. It was able to research what he needed and provide that information for him. And he can do that without having to be reliant on the internet, be reliant on other people. He could just pull that information when he needed it because he had it. We have to do that, bro. And like, call me crazy, paranoid, or whatever the case may be. But bro, it's only a matter of time. And what? You think that they're going to give you a heads up? Hey, guess what? We're going to be shutting everything down like next week. So you might want to back up, everything that and all that stuff. No, it's going to happen like this. You're not even going to know. And can you imagine if the service could, like, dude, I'm over here all the way, like, North Florida right now. My parents, South Florida. If I get cut off from the phone or the Wi-Fi, bro, I'm not gonna lie, won't even be able to contact my parents. Like, I mean, like, what do you even do? What do you even do if you by yourself completely isolated in some random town that you probably just moved to, or, you know, whatever the case may be, and let's just say everything shut off? What are you gonna do? You don't know what's going on in the world. You don't know. You have nobody to call. You have no one to contact. You don't have nothing. Do you understand how dangerous and crazy that is? There was a movie about it, like, not too long ago. What is it called? It was like, they had like these deer and stuff. I know that sounds stupid, but if you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. They had like deer, and there's like a scene where the plane fell and it was like and it crashed. And oh, there was another scene where it was like they were dropping down letters of different foreign nations to convince the people of the United States that it was other nations like trying to be the enemy. So it would turn people against each other because they had received foreign letters from, let's say this area got foreign letters from Japan, and then another place got foreign letters from Russia. No one knew who the real enemy was. Can you imagine the chaos that would be? Like, bro, that is insane. You seen The Purge? Like, bro, I'm not finna be like those people that just, oh, okay, you know, let me just go to sleep during the purge and lock my doors and hope I'm fine. Bugging, bro. Bugging. Like, what is you doing, bro? And honestly, the more time that goes by, bro, the more realistic these sci-fi movies be sounding. The more, you know, realistic these sci-fi movies are starting to become, bro. And keep in mind, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure the government has some technology that's way advanced beyond the stuff that we have. So just keep that in mind, bro. If we have this AI stuff right now, bro, can you imagine what they were doing probably like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe? That's crazy. And honestly, there's a video of when Donald Trump was what was he doing? He was talking about what happened with Charlie Kirk, and everyone was talking about how that video was AI. Yeah, that video was definitely AI. But I do not think that they would put a video like that, knowing, like, genuinely, think about it. Think about it. Why couldn't he ever record the video himself? Genuinely, I believe that they did it with AI on purpose so that we would catch it. Now, you know, you guys could come up with your own opinions as to why. Personally, I believe, or I think, not believe, I think that, you know, they purposely made it AI to kind of scare us, to be like, oh, what's going on? You know, they're starting to use AI. But in reality, bro, you think they just starting to use it? You really think they're just starting to use it? I feel like they leave little crumbs to try to, you know, divert us somewhere else. Oh, you know, they're just starting to use it. In reality, we probably should be questioning the stuff that we've been seeing for the past 5 years, for the past few years. You know, how long have they really had this? And shoot, bro, we got, you know what we need to do? We need to lock in. We gotta pray, and we gotta stop red pilling people. Stop red pilling your parents. Stop red pilling, you know, your grandma, your uncle. They don't care. This is our war. Okay? You want a red pill? Okay? Hit me up. Hit me up in the comments. Tell me what you guys are learning so I can know. Let me take all of it. I'll be like, let me go crazy, bro. Send me all your red pill stuff, bro. Because, come on, man. They don't care. This is our war. So we got to figure out a way to rely on ourselves. That's what it really comes down to. If you take anything from this video, is that we have to find a way to return to that self-reliance, so that we're not relying on, you know, whoever government. We're not relying on whatever media. We're not relying on, you know, a certain market. Because at the end of the day, all those things are going to start crashing. They're going to start crashing. You're not going to know what to trust. You're not going to know what's true. And you're not going to know what to believe. So you need to start now. Gotta start now. Gotta start now. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, bro. The last thing that you want is for something to happen and be like, bro, what do I do now? And that, and you have no, you can't, at that, bro, if you think that we praying now, you probably gonna start praying 4 or 5 times more then when you don't have nothing to look back on, bro. So we need to, matter of fact, get yourself a physical Bible. Okay, if you don't have one, the Bible app is, is great, yes. But bro, think about how fragile that is. They take away one thing. Let's just say the internet. Imagine how many other everything, bro. Banking, social media, your personal information, like, bro, everything is just gone, bro. Because that is the age that we live in now. This is our war. You think that these old people care about, their information getting leaked, bro? Shoot, their information is probably already leaked and they probably gave it away for free. Pick it up on the phone. Oh, yes. Yes, my social security number is 555. Come on, bro. I love everybody. I love my people, but bro, this is gonna be our fight, bro. So it's time that, but that's pretty cool. We're gonna be, a big part of history. You don't think that's pretty cool? Shoot, I feel like what's his name? The British are coming, the British are coming. This is documented history of me being like, yo, they coming, bro. They coming. They're gonna put this video in the future textbooks if we ever, get to that point. But bro, I'm telling you, bro, we gotta lock in. So, shoot. Love one another, pray for one another, bro. Lock in. Seek the truth. Seek the truth. Question everything. And you wanna know why? If you question everything, you'll find an answer. Okay? And that'll only strengthen your faith, honestly. If you don't start asking questions, you know what? When I was younger and back in church, I used to ask a lot of hard questions, to the pastors and stuff. Because, I used to be, I was raised in the church. So, I was always thinking about these type of questions. I was like, what's this? I wanted to know because I wanted a question because I don't know. I had these questions and sometimes they wouldn't have answers for me, which is fine. But now I'm old enough and I can look up and I can find these answers for myself. And I do. And you know what that does? All that does is solidify my faith even more in Christ, even more in God. Why? And the thing is that sometimes people, they're too afraid to question, because if you question something that you believe so hard and so long into, and it turns out to be wrong, what do you do? Well, what do you do? You've lived your whole life thinking this way, and then now you have a question and it's a little too hard, so you can either choose to stay in the ignorance or learn the truth, even if that shapes your entire worldview. And honestly, that's not for everyone, because some people will go crazy. But bro, it's important. We, the ones that can, we take that responsibility, bro, because if no one does, who will? It's like, have you seen that, you know what? Enough of the movies, bro. Enough of the movies. Just seek the truth. Honestly, for everything, bro, seek the truth. Because think about it. The worst case scenario is that you find out now so that you can change your life for the better, or you find out that you were correct, and that just proves your point even more. So it's a win-win, whether you're right or wrong. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you're wrong at times, bro. We gotta learn to be humble, you know? Shoot, I'm wrong. You got me red-handed. I'm wrong. Okay, that's fine. So teach me. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys were able to get something from this. I love you guys for real. For real, for real. Damn, they showing some love. I mean, I love y'all, but not like that. But I hope y'all doing good, bro. Let me know in the comments, you know, what you thinking. Well, you know, like what's been on your mind this week. Shoot, what's been on your feed. You know, if you wanna what's it called? If you wanna talk about some more, you know, specific stuff, you know, with me or whatever, bro, just hit me up in the DM, bro. I'll reply. I'm chilling. You guys are not fans. You guys are peers, brothers, you know, sisters. So we're in this together. All right? We all learning. I'm learning with you. We in the same boat. You watching me, but I'm watching you because we learning. So I appreciate y'all. You guys have a good one.